Ready. Play.
Medvedev's trying to get the crowd on his side. He's kind of geeing the crowd up, even though his match points down. Like, come on, cheer for me. I'm losing.
Oh, you can't knock him for trying. Match point down. He's trying to get the cheering. I love it.
This is Medvedev at his best, and also Carlos Alcaraz at his best as he's served. He's got a second serve to claim. Second serve to start the point to claim a second Indian Wells title. Serves out wide. Forehand cross court from Medvedev on the return. Alcaraz scoops that into play. Medvedev goes up the line with his backhand. Cross court forehand from Alcaraz. They're trading cross court on the forehand. That's never going to end well for Medvedev, who changed direction with his forehand. Slice from Alcaraz to the backhand of Medvedev, who goes cross court. Backhand Alcaraz. Backhand Medvedev goes back to the cross court of Alcaraz, who goes up the line. Cross court forehand Medvedev. Alcaraz goes cross court on his forehand, and Medvedev is wild cross court forehand, and Alcaraz roars, raising his arms aloft. He is the 2024 Indian Wells champion. Congratulations to Carlos Alcaraz, a thoroughly deserved title. Clearly the best man for these last 2 weeks.
Absolutely. By a long way as well. I mean, he didn't have an easy draw. He had to beat some of the best players in the world to do it, and he's really deserved it here in Indian Wells.
Thoroughly deserves it. He's still shouting. He's still celebrating. And now he's going up to go and hug Juan Carlos Ferrero, as he should. What a result for Alcaraz. Yeah. Is he likely to stay being the man to beat at this tournament for the next few years? I think the only person who's really... I need to have a look at his Indian Wells record, actually, because I think the only person who's beaten him is Rafa.
Yeah, not a bad person to lose to. It's hard to see anyone being as good as him in Indian Wells at the moment. It just suits him so perfectly, but you never know what might happen in the next couple of years.
No, indeed. And obviously then he's off to Miami, where he won his first 1,000 title 2 years ago. Only lost to Sinner in a very narrow defeat in the semi-finals last year. That won't happen this time because they'll be on opposite sides of the draw, because they'll be the top 2 seeds.
Of course.
Sorry?
No, I just said it. Of course, I forgot about that.
Yeah, because Djokovic just pulled out. So, yeah. Okay, no, he did play Indian Wells in 2021, and I think he lost to Murray in that tournament.
Did he?
Yeah, he lost to Murray 5-7, 6-3, 6-2. So yes, the only people who've beaten Carlos Alcaraz, Indian Wells, are Andy Murray and Rafael Nadal.
Wow, nice. Good for Andy Murray.
That's a good group. So you have to win at least 3 Grand Slams to be good enough to beat Carlos Alcaraz, Indian Wells. Okay.
So we might expect Djokovic to do it, but other than that, we might be struggling for people to beat him at Indian Wells.
Yeah, I mean, there'll probably be people who are capable of winning multiple slams.
Yeah.
Sinner definitely is. So I think I'm kind of hoping for an Alcaraz Sinner final
in Miami.
Yeah, that would be the biggest. I think that would be a huge high-profile match for 1,000 final. I think whether rivalries got to, it would be an appropriate status.
Yeah.
Stats up. Go on.
You go.
I'm going to say stats are up for this match, but hold your question because we'll come back to it. Try not to forget it. 11 winners and 23 unforced errors for Medvedev. Really, the unforced error count went quite high in that second set. 24 winners and 26 unforced errors for Alcaraz, who was much better in that second set. Looking at that, service points from Alcaraz, he just got better over the match, got 75 first serve points won. Medvedev only winning 45% of points behind his second serves. Yeah, I think that's going to be I don't think stats can tell you everything about a match. It gives you some indications, but I think what was clear was a lot of the times they were kind of engaged in rallies, and usually it was Alcaraz who was able to find a way to win the rallies far more often than Medvedev coming up with something inventive. Not say Medvedev didn't, but Alcaraz did it the more often.
Yes, absolutely. I think Alcaraz is getting better and better at that as well, at sort of that finding a way mentality. Having watched him, for a few years, I would say he's getting much better at making those adjustments during a match when he needs to find a way to win that isn't necessarily what he wants to do, maybe the flashy shots or the sort of entertaining the crowd. I think he's more willing to sort of put in place the tactics that need to happen for him to win a match.
Yeah, for sure. I think he's super inventive, and maybe that's what's giving him the edge in this Medvedev rivalry. That being said, Medvedev did hit some really nice improvised stuff and tried something different in this match.
He did try. I think the second set, he wasn't at his best at all. He was, like you said, the unforced errors really added up in the second set. It wasn't his best, but the first set was competitive, and he was trying different things, and I loved that improvised sort of overhead butt behind him. That was fun, and you always have a bit of a fun time watching Medvedev, I think, or I do anyway. So it's a shame he didn't sort of compete in that second set, but overall, he should be happy with the tournament. I think Medvedev played a good tournament.
He did. Well, look, he got here and, he scrapped his way through that draw against some players who could have, really given him trouble, and they didn't.
He did really scrap his way through as well.
Tommy Paul probably should have won that match maybe, but I haven't seen it. But he's definitely he's definitely got his way into this final. And I thought that first set was really, really good tennis.
Yeah, I agree.
I think it's pretty standard with some of these 1,000 finals. The first set is absolutely brilliant, and then it just kind of I'm thinking about some of the women's Masters 1000 finals that we've had in sort of recent years. Maybe that Doha final with Elena and Iga, which was just brilliant for that first set. Same with last year's Indian Wells final between Arena and Elena.
Yeah.
Although that was a bizarre first set tiebreak. I was commentating on that and I was just befuddled by how they were not able to finish off on their first serve. But we're not here to talk about a match from last year.
We've got Scott on the screen, or Scott's tweet at least, talking about a testament to how good both Carlos Alcaraz and Iga Swiatek are, that they both failed to win the Australian Open, but they both feel at least a level or two above those that did. That's an interesting thing to say. I'm not sure about.
I would agree about Iga.
Iga, yes, but not necessarily Carlos.
Carlos, no. Carlos, I think, is still very close in level with Sinner.
Yeah, I don't think there's the same difference, if that makes sense. But...
You go, yeah. Owen a bit more of a measured take, and Damien, of course. I think lots of great insights from the Popcorn Talking Tennis team. I think someone in the chat was asking what Popcorn Tennis is. Popcorn Tennis is a shared tennis blog that pretty much anyone could submit pieces to, and has some great tennis pieces. I call them tennis essays. It's what they are. I know you don't necessarily want to think about essays, Kira, but it's what they are.
Please don't. No, it's fine. They are. Yeah.
And a lot more fun to write than university essays. No shade on them. Your sports journalism.
It's fine. Degree. Everyone knows what university essays are like. Luckily, with mine, I get to do quite a lot of nice ones.
Oh yeah, you can actually do stuff that you're interested in. So yeah, we've got a picture of Carl celebrating. We've got trophy ceremony in play. Apparently, the Indian Wells Trophy is like one of the heaviest trophies in tennis.
Yeah, I saw. I mean, Iga, the first time she won it, could barely pick it up. Even today, she was sort of holding it at an angle. She was struggling. But
although she definitely did it. She definitely did a better job with it this time than she did 2 years ago.
Oh, way better. Until the streamers went off and she was so scared. I think she almost dropped it. But she
gets bothered by the streamers.
Always. I really think somebody should warn her beforehand. But, oh well.
I don't know why Davey's saying bad luck to you, Kira. Clearly he wasn't here for your pre-match
My pre-match one was perfect. I did say Carlos in 2, but I did then say Medvedev would win the tiebreak. So I think we should go with I was wrong, because I don't like to pretend to be right.
You're very humble, Kira.
I just like to pretend to be.
I think we all do.
Yeah, exactly.
Speaking of humbleness, Daniil Medvedev is currently giving his runners-up speech. It's probably going to be classic Medvedev.
I'm sure.
That's 2 big finals this year that Medvedev has just come up short against his competition for.
I'm sure he'll be talking about that as well, in his usual funny way.
Here's a question: Where is Medvedev going to eventually win that second title? Because he's never at the same place. Because he's never won more than one title at the same place.
It's insane, isn't it? It's so funny to me. Bless him. Second title. I actually think he's most likely to do it on the big stage at the US Open.
Yeah, you can't rule him out of the US Open.
I think if he's going to do it, I think he's going to go big. I think he could get the US Open again. I suppose at the moment, a lot of people would say, "How could you know, Yannick Sinner on the US Open?"
No, I think there's something about Medvedev at the US Open that's just special.
I think so.
He can beat anyone other than Djokovic. And yes, he did beat Djokovic at the US Open, but Djokovic was having a really, really weird day that day.
Yeah, it was a bit strange. I think Ghosty's completely right in that he's more dangerous in a 5-set. I don't know whether that's mentally or his game. I think for me, it's more mentally. A 5-set match for Medi is dangerous. He knows how to win 5-set matches from whatever position. But
do you think that if this match had been best of 5, we would have seen Medvedev win the 3rd set?
Ooh, that's a great question.
It's a big if, buts, and maybes, because obviously momentum changes a lot. But
I think it's possible, definitely. Even if he lost the match eventually, I could definitely see him gearing himself up to take a 3rd set to make sure Carlos didn't win it in 3.
Oh yeah, just look at the way he was conducting the crowd afterwards. If we had another set, he would have picked himself back up.
I'm just talking about through spite alone here, that he would manage to pick himself up to do it. I think, if we think of the Australian Open against Zverev, I fully believe the only reason he won that match was just pure spite alone. There was absolutely no way he was going to allow himself to lose it. And it worked. So I think in a 5-set format, you've got to be a bit more scared of Medvedev.
Yeah, I go for it. By the way, producer was asking, has Medvedev won Cincinnati? Yes, he did in 2019. I think he beat Djokovic in that tournament. No, he did. He beat Djokovic in that tournament in the semis. So there you go. All right. Well, I think we should probably start wrapping this up.
Yes.
So I guess the last thing we should probably talk about is our champion, Carlos Alcaraz. We've already kind of used a lot of superlatives with him, seen a lot on screen. He's now officially kick-started his season. Where are we at? Is it too optimistic to talk about him winning the Sunshine Double?
It's a possibility. I'm going to say no now. I might change my mind, who knows? But right now, I'm going to say no. I think we sometimes see a little bit of a, don't want to say hangover, but a bit of a hangover with Carlos when he wins tournaments. The next ones aren't always quite so, he isn't always quite so strong. It'd be great to see him overcome that this year and maybe stop when he wins a tournament struggling in the next one. But I maybe don't see him being able to do the full 3 weeks of intense tennis and take the Miami title. Bold prediction, I know. What about you?
I can see what you mean. I think it's possible. I think Yannick Sinner is going to have a lot to say about it.
Yeah.
But Alcaraz is on the board for the season in terms of momentum, in terms of winning a big title, getting himself on the stage.
Yeah.
Yeah, at the very least, has he silenced the doubters?
Oh yeah. Well, I think the doubters were a bit, shall we say, silly in the first place. But yeah, I think he should have, and I think it's a good time for him to get his kind of momentum for the season as well, when we're going into the sort of, or close to the clay season. I know we've got Miami first, but once we get into the clay season, I think that's where we're really going to see Alcaraz shine this season. Feel like he could be on for the French.
Oh yeah, I mean the French. I mean, obviously it's very early to say because obviously
Yes,
we haven't seen
it is
the
very early to say.
but yeah, the French is interesting because well, we're talking about Alcaraz now. He's about to grab the trophy, but apparently he's being told that he needs to do his interview, his speech first before he can hold the trophy. It's like, oh no, I can't. Okay, never mind. But a little bit awkward there, but hey, at least someone can match the awkwardness of Iga. Yeah, I mean, clay. Alcaraz is. It's interesting. ATP on clay is a lot more competitive compared to every other surface right now, because Alcaraz maybe has an edge on certain clay courts, but RG is a bit different. And Djokovic, you can't rule out. Rune likes it there. Yeah, you've got Rune, Ruud, Zverev, and Tsitsipas are all come alive on clay. And although it might not necessarily be a surface we think he performs his best on, Jannik Sinner's not bad on it either.
No, I think he might surprise. I've seen a lot of people saying that they don't expect Jannik Sinner to be able to translate his current success onto the clay, and I think we might be surprised. I think he might be able to do it better than we think.
Shauna, you're right. Rublev is also good on clay, but he's not necessarily better on clay than any other surface. That makes any sense for his game. Whereas I think a lot of these other players are. But yeah, you were talking about you're talking about that. I'm surprised, given that Sinner's breakout moment was that 2020 quarterfinal at Roland Garros against Nadal. He got there for a reason.
Absolutely.
He took down Zverev on the way.
Yeah.
Back when Zverev was a realistic contender, not anymore. Alcaraz still giving his speech, by the way. I'm kind of trying to hold out until we see him.
We want to see him lift the trophy.
I want to see him lift the trophy. That's kind of the bit we're all kind of here for.
Yeah, but to go back to Carlitos just quickly, I do think it's been a really good week and a half for him. I think he should take a lot of confidence from it. I know he's mentioned that some of the doubts and the long time not doing quite so well as he'd hoped has got to him and sort of got in his head a bit. So I'm hoping he can take some confidence from retaining his title, which is no mean feat, and take that into the rest of the season, because it's a better ATP tour with a confident Alcaraz on it, I think.
I completely agree. And he should. I think this is going to buoy him. We always see Alcaraz pick himself up after a title. It usually ends up taking a lot to take him down after that. Be it something like Sinner playing amazing in Miami, Marozsan redlining in Rome, or his own body letting him down in Paris.
Yeah, absolutely.
But he's still going. I don't know how, but we will see.
He didn't want to give the speech before he lifted the trophy, and now he's been allowed to. He's like, okay, I'll really go for it with the speech.
This is one of the things. If I was a pro tennis player, this is the thing I would look forward to the least.
The speech.
Yeah, it's like, do I have to just do this straight after winning a title?
I know, and they all. I mean, I know. Medi's quite funny, and some of them can be quite funny, but really, you do the well done to the other player. Thank you to my coach. Thank you to the fans. Thank you to the tournament. Here we go.
Alcaraz is now lifting the trophy. Just about. He's struggling a little bit because that's a heavy piece of.
He had to get the right grip on it, didn't he?
Yeah. Not wanting to do that, and all the fireworks go off. No one's surprised by these streamers. And Alcaraz is posing for all the photos and all the images. He is the 2024 Indian Wells champion. It's been an absolute pleasure doing this with you, Kira.
And with you, Nick. It's been great.
Let's pick this back up tomorrow where we go over everything on the WTA side.
I'm looking forward.
Which is going to be a lot of fun. Keep an eye out for our ATP weekly show with Damien and Mario. And of course, keep an eye out for all of our content, because we're not done bringing you all the tennis action, because we will be bringing you not just live stream commentaries from Miami, but behind the scenes content with Anastasia, who is on the ground and will be at the press conferences and recording as much as she can.
I'm so excited for that.
There's going to be so much content coming, believe me. Thanks, Jane. Thanks, Atul, Sean, Ghosty, Jake, Eleanor. Always lovely to see you all. Yeah, absolute pleasure working with you on this one, Kira.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. Great match.
All right. Well, lovely to see you all. It's been a great match to watch with you all. We'll be back tomorrow. But until then, take care and keep talking tennis.
If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss out on all things tennis.